Hey everybody, this is Mike Walsh. I call myself a personal trainer.
And I'm Caleb. I don't know, whatever. I'm here.
He's here. Today you're listening to Modern Era Fitness Podcast, where we talk about health in the modern age.
That's right.
That's right. That's it.
That's what we try to do. Why do you train people so early in the morning on Saturdays typically?
Why?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because that can't be good for you. Like you, because you're here so early in the morning.
Uh-huh.
You have your day job.
Uh-huh.
Then you're back here in the evening for training.
Uh-huh.
And that's for 5 days solid.
Uh-huh.
And then to get up early enough to come here to train people sometimes at 7 o'clock on a Saturday.
Yeah.
That just makes me want to throw up.
I'm a freak beast, bitch.
Well, I'm kind of offended. Kind of hurt my feelings. But really, I mean, maybe because you're doing something you enjoy, I don't know, and all that garbage.
I definitely enjoy it, and I'm not gonna lie, it's not exactly fun to leave the house early on a Saturday, but you know, there's always the work portion of what you do. You know what I mean? Even if it's what you love doing, there's always that part of like, well, I don't want to get out of bed right now.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have an answer for you other than like, well, it's what I do, and I like training people, and if they want to train on a Saturday, my line is
it more about the availability, providing availability for good times for people? You know what I mean?
I do. I wanna be able to have Saturdays available up to 10 o'clock, so that we can have open workouts at 10.
Yeah.
And then at 11, you and I start recording every week, and except for July 30th, there's something special going on.
Boop, 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 boop.
Hashtag firearms handling. So,
hashtag juggalo life. Juggalo life.
What's a juggalo?
Are you kidding me?
No.
That's actually kind of a good thing that you don't know.
Why?
That's the name of Insane Clown Posse fans.
Oh.
Juggalos. You've probably heard my Bim Bam crap on them.
I think I have,
yeah.
Yes.
They hate them.
I watched a video.
The behavior of a lot of juggalos is pretty despicable.
Antisocial?
Yeah, in a psychology sense.
Not like staying home all the time.
Yeah, but psychotic antisocial.
Yeah.
I mean, their mascot is that dude running with the hatchet.
Yeah.
So
can't be good.
Yeah. But, they have a community. They feel good in that community. As long as that community doesn't infringe on my community.
Yeah.
Wait, that sounds...
Or chase you with the hatchet.
Yeah.
So that's why I come in early on Saturdays.
to get away from all the juggalos.
The town I live in has a early Saturday morning gathering for juggalos. I'm like, I'm out.
Turner, Oregon is the capital of juggalos.
Actually, I don't live in Turner.
Oh, that's right.
Anymore.
You're in Lyons?
No.
Staten?
No.
Scio?
No.
Hang on, I'll get there.
It's really small, so if we say it, people will be able to find me really easily.
Do you not want me to say it?
I don't want people to know where I live.
Okay. We'll keep it with Turner then.
I live in the Willamette Valley somewhere. The grass seed...
Come and find me.
The grass seed / allergy capital of the world.
Supposedly we're a really big mint producer too. Which is nice when the crops rotate into mint.
My dad worked at a mint farm one summer.
He probably hates mint now.
Oh no, he loves it.
Really?
Yeah, we at the end of the season he brought home these little vials of pure mint, like pure mint. And he let us smell it one time, and it just
one time.
Well, being
too long. Okay,
actually, being 7 years old and smelling pure mint, it's like
smelling salts.
It's like getting kicked in the teeth.
Oh,
and so
didn't sleep for a week.
Yeah, didn't sleep for a week. Woo, ready to bench.
Yeah. At 7.
Yeah, at 7. No, but they only put like 2 drops or drop and a half of that stuff per tube of toothpaste. It's that strong.
My dad used to... Actually, here's a fitness tip for you. And this one might make Alyssa proud that I know this.
Aboundwellness.com.
Yeah, aboundwellness.com. Peppermint is good for stomach aches, especially fitness-induced stomach aches.
Uh-huh.
And my dad used to do some serious cycling.
Uh-huh.
He would do the metrics and the century rides and all that kind of stuff. And I think he may have done it competitively too at some point. Vague memories of watching him in a race. But anyway, what?
There's a spider back there.
It's so small.
It's moving up the wall kind of slowly.
Okay, focus.
Okay.
Can you? Do I need to?
I can focus.
Outside?
I can do it.
Oh. Hey, if you want to know how to defeat the U.S. military, send a spider in the barracks. And
have you seen Starship Troopers? Scary as shit.
What was I saying?
If you get a tummy ache, brush your teeth.
Oh yeah, and so one of the tips I picked up from him when he was so into cycling, he would take a toothpick, dip it in the peppermint, the extract or whatever,
pure,
and just drop the toothpick into his water bottle. And,
oh, nice!
And so it flavored with a good clean peppermint, his water, and it helps. So if you're pumping hard, if you're pushing hard, if you're cycling real hard, if you're exercising really hard,
deep.
If you're exercising really hard, it helps. I mean, if you've worked out hard enough, you know what I'm talking about. Kind of how you get nauseous and sometimes throw up.
Uh-huh.
And this is a good way to help subdue that. So, little tip, tip for you guys on a healthy use of peppermint.
I'll keep that in mind next time I'm on a sweet little machine, just going at it.
Okay.
Oh, it's gone. Look at that.
It's on your face.
No, it's not. Yeah, thanks, Caleb.
Don't
worry about it. Can you focus?
Yeah, I mean,
that's a good trick.
Yeah,
peppermint in the water.
Yeah. So remember that, folks, when you have a heavy workout coming or a competition or something like that, especially you cyclists, it's a good one to have if you're going to push yourself at a race or something, or doing sprints. Sprints or runners too, any sort of...
I was thinking sprints on a bike are worse than sprints.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Coming from me, who is neither a runner nor a bicyclist.
Yeah, for me, it's harder to use my legs.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm making such little progress, whereas on a bike, you go really far.
Yeah. It's even worse when you go from biking to running.
Yeah.
What's the
triathlon?
Triathlon? What's the order for that?
I think it goes run, swim, bike.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Get the hard stuff out of the way.
Yeah. So anyway, keep that in mind about the peppermint. And you can let us know if you tried it and if it works. Email us, modernerrorfitnesspodcast@gmail.com.
@gmail.com.
What did I say?
@gmail.com. I just felt like repeating you. Sorry.
Okay. Good. So a couple episodes back, we had mentioned very, very briefly about biofeedback and data capturing of your workouts, of your your results and all that kind of stuff. I think it'd be a good idea to talk a little bit more about that, find out what's important to be tracking and what maybe we're tracking that is a waste of time or not as important because it doesn't really produce anything beneficial.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So let's start with, what should I be tracking?
If you want to improve something, you got to know what you want to improve or what you're looking for change or where you're looking for change in order to figure out what you want to measure. So if you know what you want to change, then you know what you want to measure. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
let's take the example of, somebody wants to lose body fat and they want to not have a big tummy.
Mm-hmm.
I love that word, tummy. So that's what you're going to measure. You're going to measure body fat, and you're going to measure like waist circumference, hip circumference, and while you're at it, you can do some
Caliper,
yes, skin caliper,
skin fold, or
skin fold caliper tests. So those are the things that I would start with. So some basic body measurements and skin fold calipers and weight. Yeah, go from there.
okay. So that's a good one. So that's body fat. What if I'm working on strength? So the skin fold test is like an external measurement for external progress. If I am going not for size like bulk, but for strength, how should I be measuring that?
Oh, if you're measuring strength, you're going to measure how much weight you can move.
Right. No, I get that. That's kind of a no-brainer, but how should I track it? Like to make sure I'm making progress? Because for me, I feel like I can't really see the results. I don't lift heavy, and it's very slow progress. So what's something practical that I can use to make sure I'm still moving in the right direction?
A really common one is the 1 rep max, and that's fine. I like to do, I mean, especially for a martial artist or somebody that's not going for sheer power, I would go for like maybe, let's say, a set of 10 or a set of at least 5 or 6 or 7. Just make sure.
Which is it, man?
Make sure it's consistent. It doesn't matter what it is. I know it's not a cool answer.
Just have a benchmark.
Have a benchmark. And you can actually have a few benchmarks. Like, okay, I can bench this much 1 time, and this much 5 times, and this much 8 times, and this much 15 times.
Okay.
And
just journal it, kind of like what Tony was saying.
Bingo.
Okay.
Journal those things, and then you can look back and be like, wow, what I can bench 15 times has really gone up, but what I can bench 1 time or 3 times hasn't gone up at all.
Mm.
Then you can kind of go from there and see what you need to do. It's really keeping it really simple is what it's about. Keep tracking the things that you want to improve, and you'll see how what you're doing affects it.
Yeah.
Just a big old experiment.
Yeah. Cardio seems pretty simple too, kind of like the strength training. Like to me so far, the more complicated one to track is the fat loss.
So the fat loss,
because the fat loss doesn't necessarily mean that you'll see changes on the scale. I mean, you probably will, but I mean, you can switch muscle for fat, and
yeah, you can lose fat and gain muscle at the same time.
Yeah.
So you might get smaller, and your clothes might fit better, and you'll notice that tummy is going away, or whatever, or fat's going away, but the scale isn't changing, but your lifts are going up, and you notice that you're definitely getting stronger.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're burning fat and building quality muscle.
Yeah, that one, because not everybody has calipers to.
Not everybody, but I do see it a lot when people come in here and they train for a while and they don't see the change on the scale that they're really focused on, but they're noticing that clothes are fitting better and things like that.
Yeah.
And the measurements for the skin fold calipers is moving in the right direction.
That's cool. And how do you feel about its accuracy? Because it seems like there's always science coming in. Like the BMI is a good example. Everybody was putting all their eggs into the basket of BMI and whether or not that is a good and accurate assessment of somebody's body composition and health.
This is really bad.
And that's what I'm saying is later on down the road, they say, no, it's not that accurate. Actually, it's almost garbage. I mean, it is garbage. It's still better than, it's still a good idea of where you're at, but it's not truly.
It's a really bad idea.
Yeah.
It does not accurately portray anything.
So the science has kind of developed beyond that, and so our calipers, is that.
Calipers is like measuring something and it's saying, okay, this is this, and there's no way around it. So like, let's say you're doing like a thigh measurement with the skinfold calipers. It's like, okay, we're measuring how many millimeters literally of fat we can pinch, and there's no way.
I guess that's true. It's kind of objective.
There's no interpretation to that data.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No
20 millimeters is 20 millimeters.
no misinterpretation. It is what it is.
So and then that gets all put into a formula, with your age, your weight, your size.
Do you find that there's any difficulty in getting a consistent pinch?
Not with experience and not with doing it consistently.
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense? So once you know how to do it, it's like doing anything. It's like
Yeah.
tying your shoes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an injustice, and it just doesn't work the same if you try to go like over clothes, which we've done before.
Mm.
It's like, well, that's not going to work.
That adds millimeters.
That adds millimeters by far, and plus it's already affecting your body. Like let's say you're wearing leggings or whatever.
Mm. Which I do.
Yep, all the time. They look good.
Jeggings.
So yeah, it's all about the formula, and there's a lot of different formulas out there for putting in the skin fold measurements
Mm-hmm.
and the additional data like age, weight, height, gender.
What body sites do you use for your calipers in case somebody wants to try it on their own?
So I go by.
What do you use? What's supposed to be the most accurate?
So in general, the more sites, the better.
Okay. I guess that's what I was getting at.
There's you can do like a one site measurement and be like, well, based on this one measurement, and you see where this is going. Based on this one measurement and how old you are, and your gender, and you're at 20% body fat. Whereas, okay, going by these 7 measurements and all this other information, this is where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
So the more measurements, the better in general. So
I guess that's true for anything. Yeah, I feel like the body fat is the most complicated one, but another easy one would be cardio, similar to your strength. Just tracking for cardio. If you're a runner or a cyclist or whatever, it's what is your average pace, like your mile pace. So say you run a 9-minute mile, and you can see objectively, okay, now I'm down to 8:30.
Right, how you're trending. Yeah.
And same with cyclists. What kind of technology do you use? Any sort of apps to track your runs or your anything like that?
I use Nike Plus
for your running.
Yeah,
and your Trainerize thing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you liking that?
I love it. So I use it for myself and most of my clients.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still working out some kinks, and the clients I am using it with, they're my guinea pigs. They've been here a while, and it's already so cool because I can graph whatever measurement I want. So like let's say I'm going by a waist measurement for somebody who really wants to lose that belly. And I can see over time what those measurements are looking like. Like, okay, we're losing, an inch per month or an inch every 2 weeks. And then we tweak something in the training, or I add a little bit extra cardio to their homework. And lo and behold, they lose quicker.
Right.
So it's really a way to track.
And fine-tune.
And really get things down to the T. And the app on my end shows me what they're doing. So I know if they skip a workout, and I know if they don't check in, and it's really cool.
That's pretty neat. And my limited experience with it, I noticed for me on the user end, you can track like what you were saying, how much weight you're doing.
Yes, which is important.
And your number of reps per set and all that stuff. And it's cool because it's got little videos. If you're by yourself and you don't have a personal trainer with you to critique your form, you can at least have some sort of guidance.
Yeah.
Having a personal trainer is always best, like the safest option, because somebody experienced right there with you is always a good thing.
And
so you won't hurt yourself.
It integrates with Fitbit, and it integrates with MyFitnessPal, so you can track your nutrition, and it shows it up that way. So I have full control over your macros, how many calories you should intake, and all you have to do is, when it pops up on your phone and says, hey, don't forget to check in for today.
Mm-hmm.
And so you go do your workout, which I have planned for you. It's all in the app, and then you just record it and record what you eat that day. And there's even a little bubble there where you can message me with any questions you might have. It's really neat.
That's cool. Is that open to anybody who hears this, or is that specifically for clients?
Specifically for clients right now, and like I said, it's still going through the testing phase with a few key clients and yourself and myself for that matter. But I love it, and it's working for my clients. And in the near future, I'm going to open it up to just whoever wants to train. It's going to be a online training program. It's going to be 12 weeks at a time. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So look out for that.
Yeah. So if you're in Bend or Portland or
New York,
Thailand, whatever.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's sweet. I like you, I use Nike for my running and my Fitness Pal for food when I'm on top of things.
Yeah. They're hard to beat.
Yeah. And for cycling, there's a pretty sweet app called Strava, whatever. Strava.
Uh-huh.
And it does all the same stuff that the Nike one does, but for cycling.
Using technology, I feel, is like the way to go. Just because it makes it so much easier, and it's usually on a phone that you have in your pocket, and you don't lose it like you would with a notebook. And there's so much more capabilities than just writing it down in a notebook.
The convenience for me is everything. Like if I had to commit it to a notebook or something like that, I probably wouldn't do it. But considering that I always have my phone with me, it's really easy. Everything's. They try to make apps and programs intuitive, so they're convenient to use and appealing, and I feel like that's true.
And fun to use.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I'm looking to get into is actually pitting groups of people against each other and kind of adding a gamification feel to fitness. Kind of like Pokemon Go, only not.
Oh. Are you talking about boot camp people, clients, or what?
Everybody.
Like the world?
Well,
you mean everybody that's involved here?
Everybody that's involved here.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe using software to do that so that they don't have to be physically here. I don't know.
Like you could have a weekly push-up challenge, or like a week that's a push-up challenge, and whoever does the most amount of push-ups in a day and tracks it gets a prize.
Or something.
A hug. Yeah.
But then you would just go in there and be like, I did 10,000 push-ups today.
No, nobody here would do that. Except for me. I might.
Everybody else is like 20, 26.
Where's my hug?
27.
Information is power.
Information is power. If you want to improve it, track it.
The biggest benefit for me with tracking has been food. Tracking food. And it's probably going to be different for everyone. Everybody's got a different focus. But for me, food was the biggest change. It's usually the thing that people aren't doing right that's keeping them from getting the results they want. And so once I started tracking my food, that's when I actually started to see the change in everything else. Feeling better and looking better and getting stronger, through proper nutrition. So if you're not sure where to start, that's where I would start.
Yeah, just start tracking and seeing what your intake is,
and not even worry about so much about your weight and your fat and all that kind of stuff. Start with just the base knowledge of what am I putting into my body, and then adding what am I putting out.
It's a eye opener.
Yeah.
What is
your favorite color?
Oh, you beat me to it. I was going to say that.
Blue. No, green.
Ah! How much do you track besides your nutrition on MyFitnessPal?
I entered some base information like my weight and my height and that kind of stuff, but I usually don't update that. I usually use my Fitbit app to keep track of that kind of stuff.
Do you measure anything else? Like, do you have a sleep cycle app or anything?
My Fitbit tracks that. It's kind of nice.
Uh-huh.
One thing that I enjoy tracking, I don't really have to do much to do it, is the particular model of Fitbit I have has a heart rate monitor on it. And I love to see, like after a boot camp or after a particularly hard self-defense class or jiu-jitsu or something like that, checking out what my peak heart rate was and how long I sustained a high heart rate. I feel like that helps you figure out where your threshold is, because while you're going through your workout, you're not really paying attention necessarily to your heart rate. All you're paying attention to is how difficult it feels. And so after the fact, you can go back and see, wow, I actually wasn't working as hard as I could have, or I did work really hard. That was awesome.
Yeah, you can kind of infer some things.
Yeah. So, heart rate.
What?
I like that.
Is there anything in your life that you would measure, but you're just not measuring right now?
Yeah, the whole weightlifting thing, the keeping better track of the weight that I'm lifting.
I'll help you with that Monday. I'll have you get out your phone.
It's not so much that I don't care about sets and reps and things like that. It's purely about the weight, and that's I think a chauvinistic thing, like because you want to be able to brag about your numbers,
Well,
I know that's not good.
Well, that isn't good. And the people that are really good at lifting a lot of weight have gone through the gross amount of workouts to get there, I think, at that low weight. And even guys that are like freakishly strong will sometimes dip down into 30% of what they could lift just to work on like form and work on the basics and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you think in the future we're going to start tracking things like cognitive functions and social skills or social
You mean
whatever?
like they do now on like a therapy type? So if you're having problems, they go in and they track.
They do?
That kind of, they'll do a test and
interesting
and pull data from that test, and then maybe 5 years to see if treatment is working, or if if there's any sort of.
Do you think that's going to be popularized? And
it might. They might find a better, easier way, and it could be happening already, like through Facebook data, like data mining.
Oh, I'm sure
they probably are doing exactly that over millions and millions and billions of people.
Well, I'm sure if they put like made it sort of a game or whatever, and if you do this, then you get this badge, and
I think you're probably right.
Are you ever aware or kind of concerned that we're tracking too much as humans?
Yeah, I hear people express concern about the amount of information we're providing without really knowing it.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I don't really care though. Like, I feel like there's a greater benefit to having, like I said before, knowledge is power, information is power. And it doesn't bother me if Facebook is figuring me out.
Yeah. What I don't like though is
you just have to be careful who's at the other end.
That's true. Here's what I don't like though is Facebook puts two and two together, and they're like, "Oh, you're 30 years old. Oh, and you're a veteran. Here's this really shitty veteran-made like company that sells these shirts that say like." Guns save lives and da-da-da-da. You should buy it. I'm just like, no.
Assuming that you're all kind of the same.
Like, hey, you're a veteran. You'd buy this shit.
Yeah. No, I get those. And you can tell that these T-shirt things that pop up in your feed, they put a picture. What am I trying to say? Like it's a Photoshop picture.
To get you to click.
Yeah, tailored to your likes. Like the T-shirt isn't even real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just put an image together on top of a person wearing a T-shirt just to see if you'll... Anyway.
One ad that comes up so many times in my feed, and I love it every time, and I want it so bad. It's a Bloodsport T-shirt, and it has Chong Li on it. Just Chong Li, and he's just pointing. Oh, it's so good. I want it real bad.
That's funny.
My birthday's coming up.
When is it?
August.
I'm
not giving my birthday and where I live. I agree with you about information. I don't think information is bad. I think that I think there's so much more that we could take away from it. You know what I mean? And I think that there's a huge... Well, it takes resources to to work with
to
data.
sift through it.
Yeah, to sift through it. And I think a lot of those, I think so many reasons about why we have such big data and why we act on that data is because of capitalism and money.
Mm-hmm.
I think so much cool things could be done with research and all kinds of stuff.
I think that's because the people that are after money know how to use it, and nobody else. Well, we're starting to figure out how valuable this information that we're putting out there without even knowing it is. So hopefully, if it's not already a thing, there's probably going to be a time where they figure out, okay, let's sift through Facebook data, and we'll be able to detect who's got Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Just from the way that they use Facebook or something like that. And I think that's fantastic.
Who was the was it Twitter or was it Microsoft that put out that tweet bot?
Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That became racist really
they shut
quick.
it down.
Do you think they should have let that keep going?
Yeah.
I agree. I think it would have learned eventually, and I think somebody would have caught on, like, actually, this is one view.
Yeah. Or if enough people expressed pain, maybe
pain at the racist marks that other people were trying to
get it to say, and then it might have
figured it out,
learned how to love,
and understood the human condition.
Yeah.
What was that bot's name?
I don't remember.
Ugh. Either way, miss you. Never forget.
Yeah. There is so Elon Musk, hero of the 21st century. He recently expressed a concern. Well, he's always expressed concern about rogue AI kind of taking over humanity. And so he's dumped a lot of money into making sure that that doesn't happen, or that there's some sort of safety in check. And DARPA, the defensive agency, DARPA has an X Prize type thing going on right now for AI. And Elon Musk recently said that's how we're all going to end.
That's how Skynet gets created.
I think that's what he said, is that this AI contest that DARPA has going right now is where that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. This is the end of the Fermi paradox that all the other alien races are watching us. They're like, yep, this is it.
Get ready to move into
to
this planet. They're about ready to.
Well, this little planet made it one universal planet year comparatively. We're just a little infants and we're not going to make it. Yeah. Anyway, if you haven't heard of the Fermi paradox, you should Google it and look it up. Yeah. It's really extremely interesting. And it's something that I totally agree with, and I think is totally accurate. And I think we're going through this these little phases, and I think we're totally being watched right now. Ooh. If you could have anybody in a rock band, who would it be? Besides Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Elon Musk, who else would be in it?
Just because I think he's probably really funny. Bernie Sanders.
Oh, yeah.
He would be funny to see.
On the drums. Yeah. Just that hair going wild. Okay, Bernie Sanders on the drums. Ellen on lead vocals. The Rock on bass, of course, because he's just a monster.
As in DeGeneres? Ellen DeGeneres?
Yeah. And, Elon Musk on guitar, because it would be out of this world. But dumb.
Why wouldn't The Rock be on vocals? He can sing.
He's built like a bass player. Bass players are just like moosey.
That's true. I could see him big and grooving.
Yeah.
That would be probably a terrible, like...
Yeah.
Not a good sounding band.
Probably just because Bernie Sanders doesn't play the drums. Everybody else would fit in perfectly, though.
You put me back here.
A little bird would probably land on his drumsticks right before he just bails out and just chokes. We're like, I can't do it. Well, I think that's it. Kind of a fun little episode we just did. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate your time, and we love doing this with you. If you don't know, now you know. Email us.
I'm just going to let you keep going. See where this goes.
Email us at modernerafitnesspodcast@gmail.com or get at us on Instagram and Twitter at MEF Podcast.
Find us on Facebook as well.
And remember, live in a good place, keep your mind deep, and
work when it's time.
No, you did it. Okay, bye.
Where's my hug?
Michaela said she's so glad that we don't say the live in a good place, keep in mind you've been working on its time at the same time anymore.
Why?
She said that was painful to hear.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Was it too sweet?
It was way too sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was too darling.
Cuddly. Yeah.